The AstraZeneca-Oxford COVID-19 vaccine protects against a more transmissible variant of the virus first identified in the United Kingdom, according to research published Friday. The study, which has not yet been peer-reviewed, found that the vaccine is 74.6% effective against the variant, similar but somewhat lower than the 84% effectiveness against the non-variant strain. The effectiveness of a range of vaccines against the UK variant, also known as B.1.1.7, has been reassuring, though experts are more concerned about at least some drop in effectiveness rates against a different variant first found in South Africa. Data from our trials of the ChAdOx1 vaccine in the United Kingdom indicate that the vaccine not only protects against the original pandemic virus, but also protects against the novel variant, B.1.1.7, which caused the surge in disease from the end of 2020 across the UK, said Andrew Pollard, an Oxford professor working on the vaccine. Even though vaccines appear to be effective against it, the UK variant still poses a risk of causing a spike in the coming weeks in the US given its transmissibility, because many Americans are not yet vaccinated. The Oxford researchers said they are working with AstraZeneca to prepare to update the vaccine to fight new variants if necessary, as are other companies working on vaccines. We are working with AstraZeneca to optimize the pipeline required for a strain change should one become necessary, said Sarah Gilbert, another Oxford researcher. This is the same issue that is faced by all of the vaccine developers, and we will continue to monitor the emergence of new variants that arise in readiness for a future strain change. Peter Marks, a top Food and Drug Administration official, said last week that the agency is working on a streamlined process for authorizing updated vaccines against new variants, if necessary. We would intend to try to be pretty nimble with this, Marks said during a webinar hosted by the American Medical Association. This article was originally written by Peter Sullivan for The Hill on February 5, 2021. AstraZeneca vaccine 75% effective against highly contagious COVID-19 variant. The vaccine developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford provides protection against the more contagious COVID-19 variant that emerged in the UK, fresh data from clinical trials shows. In a paper published in the Lancet Medical Journal, the university confirmed Friday that its vaccine candidate is about 75% effective at preventing an infection of the strain first discovered in the UK, as opposed to an efficacy rate of 84% against older variants. Mutations in the COVID-19 spike protein have been recorded in countries like the UK, South Africa and Brazil. Due to changes in the binding receptors that outline the spike protein, studies suggest these strains are more transmissible than the original COVID-19 particle. The Wall Street Journal was the first to report in the paper's findings. The study used a control group to determine the efficacy rate of the vaccine, called ChAdOx1 COVID-19, against the UK variant. Of the 323 swabs that were analyzed and sequenced, volunteers who received the AstraZeneca vaccine experienced a significantly lower viral load than those who were given the control substance, indicating a smaller presence of COVID-19. Researchers also found that the antibody response produced by the vaccine in response to the UK mutation was 9-fold lower in comparison to the antibody count generated against the original COVID-19 strain. Efficacy of ChAdOx1 COVID-19 against the B.1.1.7 variant of SARS-CoV-2 is similar to the efficacy of the vaccine against other lineages, the report concludes. Furthermore, vaccination with ChAdOx1 COVID-19 results in a reduction in the duration of shedding and viral load, which may translate into a material impact on transmission of disease. The emergence of these new strains has prompted questions as to whether or not the COVID-19 vaccines that have been in development since 2020 will provide adequate protection against the new variants. Burgeoning trial data from companies whose COVID-19 vaccines have been approved for distribution, including Pfizer, have shown some promise against the virus's mutations. This article was originally written by Alexandra Kelly for The Hill on February 5, 2021. South Africa COVID-19 strain is likely spreading, but vaccines remain strong tool, CDC. Earlier this week, the first 2 U.S. cases of the South African COVID-19 variant were recorded by South Carolinian health officials. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Rochelle Walensky confirmed on NBC News that the mutation is in fact here and that the presumption at this point is that there has been community spread of this strain. The question of whether the available and pending COVID-19 vaccines will be able to fight off new mutations of the virus lingers. Prominent public health experts like Anthony Fauci have said that the vaccines manufactured by companies like Pfizer and Moderna should be effective against any new variants, but recent data from clinical trials from drug makers like Novavax and Johnson & Johnson suggest their vaccines are less potent against newer mutations of COVID-19. Walensky comments that even if a vaccine is not as effective when it detects a mutation seen in the South African or British variants of COVID-19, some efficacy is still preferable to none. When viruses mutate and they develop strains and dominant strains, they usually do so for some advantage to the virus, she said. That may come in the tune of our vaccines not working as well. Even a vaccine that has 50-60% efficacy would still be a really strong tool in our toolbox to fight this pandemic. It may just lend us to feel like we need a booster effect further down the road. She further added that data suggests the FDA-approved vaccines, made by Pfizer and Moderna, are likely to still be largely effective, and that data collected and released by Novavax featured a sample of under 5,000 people. I think we still need to unpack the implications of what they're finding, Walensky said of Novavax's forthcoming research. Because the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are made with messenger RNA technology, they can ideally be adjusted to trigger an immune response when it encounters different protein structures seen in different COVID-19 mutations. This article was originally published by The Hill on January 29, 2021.